I feel like I've kind of fought with it for a little while. Like I always knew that I wanted to do music. I took guitar lessons all the way from when I was like 6 years old and that big, and was always just highly interested in music. And then when college came around, I started going to a university here in St. Louis for audio production. I'm like, okay, well, I want to be a musician. I want to be a guitar player, but maybe. And at the time, 18 years old, this was back 2008, 2009. At the time, like, okay, well, maybe I'll own a studio. That's where the money is, right? And I go into studio production, and I wanted to have a studio, but then record my own music and whatever. And I spent about a year there, 2 semesters, and all the audio, uh, all the audio professors were like, you want to own a studio one day? Like that's not going to be a thing. They were very encouraging. It was great. Um, and then I just figured, like, if that's the best I'm getting out of these people, if they're like, you're not going to do that, it's not realistic. I'm like, well, if nothing is realistic, then I guess I just might as well pursue what I want to do anyway, which is play guitar. So then I transferred up to a really small school called McNally Smith College of Music, and I went to school there. I finished my bachelor's in guitar performance. I took a couple of production classes and some songwriting classes and some other music business classes and stuff. I tried to not only do my degree is in guitar performance, but I try to make myself a little more well rounded in that regard. I really wish McNally Smith was something that I could actually like tell people about. That it's still it's unfortunately not there anymore. But a guitar player by the name of Corey Wong also went to McNally Smith College of Music. He was a couple years older or a couple years ahead of me, but I got to know the guy that is currently his drummer fairly well. Pardon the name dropping, but if I just say McNally Smith, no one knows what I'm talking about. So I finished my degree, and then again wrestled with the idea like, what am I actually doing for my future? Music is just it's not happening, right? So then I came back to St. Louis and I joined a post baccalaureate pre med program, and I thought I want to be a doctor because that's the straightened path. I know what I need. I go to med school. I get a residency. I'm an attending, or I go into private practice. Like that just laid out. That's the plan. Did fairly well for the first couple of semesters. Hated it. Like it just was not for me, even though I'm kind of a little bit of a science nerd, but just not for me because, my guitar would stare at me in the corner of my room like, hey, what are you doing? Pick me up. What are you doing over there? And I did. Actually, I probably practiced more during that time period of my life than ever. Even after going through like 4 years of music program. But that's when I really feel like I became who I am as a player, or laid the groundwork for who I am as a player. And I had a wonderful mentor at the time. His kind of claim to fame is helping. He taught a class that was preparing people for going into med school. And during this class, he talked to everyone. He said, by the way, I'm a really friendly person. Just I teach like 200 students a semester. I can't write everyone a letter recommendation for med school, so please just don't ask me. Well, I ended up like being a TA for him, and I was working and developed a relationship with him. And he said to me right before I was just going to out the program, he said, "Hey, by the time your med school stuff comes up, let me know. I'll write you a letter of recommendation." And just like, it killed me. So I had a really long conversation with him. I'm like, I don't think I want to do this. I think I actually want to go into music. And he was actually really supportive and really happy for me. He's like, it's great that you actually know what to do and you have your passion and you have a calling to do this. Go do it. I wish you the best of luck. So I really appreciate who he was for me at that time. His name was Dr. Gregory Politis. Wonderful, wonderful guy.